Hey guys, welcome back to Meta Luigi, and in today's video, if you haven't already read the title, I'm going to be talking about the stigma towards cell phones. Mainly any type of cell phone, any smartphone, iPhone, Samsung, Google Pixel, all that crap. So what do I mean? What do I mean by the stigma towards it? Well, quite simply, really, older generations, they pretty much blame any minor inconvenience, whether it be an argument or poor grades, bad attitude towards for children or grandchildren, and blaming smartphones, using smartphones as a scapegoat. What pisses me off about it, is that smartphones are really no different than TV, they're both screens, I mean, hell, you can literally watch the same shows on TV like you can with smartphones. The most common, I guess the most common argument, whatever you want to whatever you want to call it, older generations, they say that, the only videos that are on smartphones are stupid meme videos or whatever. It's they don't understand. With YouTube TV, you can watch the same dumb videos like Skibbity Toilet on your TV, and going back to watching normal shows on the smartphones thing, you can watch, shows like Breaking Bad on your smartphone, It's not just dumb, TikTok videos or brain rot videos or whatever the hell you want to call them. Smartphones, much in the same vein as watching TV or playing video games, it's a form of entertainment, okay? I'm pretty sure that when silent films were becoming popular, in the 1920s with Charlie Chaplin, that older generations that didn't grow up with that, they were saying the same old things. These moving pictures are terrible to the mind. Charlie Chaplin is the reason why my son didn't get to go to Harvard and join Skull and Bones. It's because of those damn moving pictures. So, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I mean, I'm sorry that this video is short. I mean, there's really nothing that I can really talk about for this topic, other than what I've already said. Other than the fact that, besides the screen sizes, you're pretty much watching the same thing, if you really think about it, I mean, same thing with computers too. Although I don't really hear the same arguments with computers like with smartphones, and I think that's because computers are a lot more socially acceptable, when compared to smartphones. I mean, this really only really applies to older generations that that use smartphones. They don't get stigmatized, because 99% of the time they're fucking either playing Candy Crush or one of those gay ass casino games and shit. I mean, if you're my age or younger, high school age or whatever, older generations, whether it be your parents or grandparents, they're going to look at you and they're going to judge you for being on your phone. But if you were to be on your computer, hell, if you're watching the same shit that you do on your phone, they're going to look at you and they're going to think you're doing something productive because you're not on the phone. With schools nowadays, you pretty much all your work comes on a computer. It really can't be the same thing with cell phones. That's why computers get a pass whereas cell phones don't. Because they associate cell phones with TikToks and Skibbity Toilet, whereas with computers, they associate it with typing out Word documents and stuff like that. Pretty much the stuff that older generations are familiar with, and emails and stuff like that. So that's pretty much all I have to say for the matter. If you want to hear more rants, then favorite, and subscribe. And until then, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.